let's talk about routing or routing. How you spell? How you say that? Routing, routing. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Correct. Correct. Americans said routing with British accent. Routing. Yeah. So, well, I would like to introduce routing or routing in React, which is something that some of you are already dealing with. Yes. So, the very first thing to note here is that routing is not automatically built in as part of React. Yeah. So you need to install it separately. We'll do a workshop about how to install things, how to manage dependencies, all this sort of thing. Yeah? But for now, let's have a quick look about how to install things in a Node application. So you have to go to the terminal and then type npm install and then the name of the dependency you want to install. Yeah? In that case, the name of the routing dependency is React routing DOM. I think that's the name of the library. One more thing to note is that if we press enter now, the library will get installed, but once we deploy the app to Heroku, it won't be available. Yeah? So we need to save it somehow. If you have investigated a bit on the package.json, you may have noticed there is something called dependencies. Yeah? So that dependencies, these are the things that are available in the cloud. Because we want to run React routing in the cloud, we need to tell Node to save it, --save. If you pass the --save flag, I did it already, that's why here, right? React router is router, not routing, sorry, that's my fault. React router, yeah? So, because I did it already, you can see it's there. But even if I delete it, you see, I don't have React Router DOM anymore. Now, if I install it, which is a process that will take a few seconds, it's essentially downloading from the internet the library. Yeah, you will see on line number 8, probably, if you pay attention here, it will display the new library. So that means that once we deploy to Heroku, that library will be available. We'll see. Yeah, it takes. Yep.
In the meantime, if we put -g, we have to install also. It will work globally.
Yeah.
Also for Heroku.
Correct. Well, no, when we install with -g, that stands for global. That means that package will be available for all your projects. If tomorrow you create a new project, you don't have to install it again. It's not recommended, speaking, to do that, yeah? Because if you install something globally, it's not available for Heroku, no.
It's the same like not put anything.
Correct. It's the same as not putting anything. You see now, right? React Router DOM. And interestingly, and I wasn't expecting that, I got version 5 installed. Yeah, I didn't even know that there was version 5 of React Router DOM. And this is a bit controversial because, and this is something important, very important to note, on every major version of React Router DOM, they change the APIs a lot. Yeah? So that means that if you go to Google to search for how to redirect to the not found page, the answer may not be valid because that answer may be valid for a different version. So be very careful when you search on Google, specify the version. Yeah? React Router DOM, how to version 4, version 5, version whatever, yeah? I'm going to assume, and this is a very optimistic thought, very, very romantic thought, that what we know about React Router DOM version 4 will work on version 5. Yeah. If we start, watching weird behaviors like ghosts and phantoms and things like that, I'll downgrade the version, yeah? Because I'm not familiar. I didn't even know that version existed. But anyway, it's good, right? The library is getting more
so is there
mature.
A chance also to downgrade?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The thing is, if you change the number here, 4, and you install it again, yeah, you'll get the newer version. What's up, Walter?
Why do we install it with the // save? I mean, it's not necessary to have it like a dependency.
Yes, as I explained a minute ago, it is necessary thinking about Heroku. Yeah, it will work locally without the save, but it won't work. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know that there are lots of subtle details. There are lots of subtle details. Yeah, for now, as a way to prevent unexpected behaviors, I will recommend you to install packages with dash-save. Yeah, for now. Then we'll see when to run dash-save, when to run it with dash-save dev, when to run it with -g. There are different scenarios. But for now, the safest approach is installing it with dash-save. Then it will be available for Heroku. If Heroku doesn't need it, that's fine. Yeah, but if Heroku does need it, yeah, it will be available. Cool. So again, React Router version 5. Let's see how controversial this is. So at the moment I got an app. So let me start the server. npm start. This is a playground application. So as soon as you type npm start, you know that message probably already, right? There is another application running. You want to open it in a new port. Type Y, and then it will open a new tab in your browser. So let's see, once the app runs, let's start talking about introducing routing. Cool, it does work. Yeah? Remember I told you a few times already that you can access your local apps from your phone. Yeah? You see the message here. On your network, if you go on your phone and you type HTTP 10.20.31 blah 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 blah, on your phone it should work. If it doesn't work, that means that first of all you're a Windows user, and then you have the firewall active. Yeah, so you need to play a bit with this scary wall of firewalls. Cool. So let's talk about routing. Let's talk about routing. The first thing is we install a library, right? What's the name of the library? React Router DOM. Yeah. So now, the first thing I would like to do is to set up. Yeah, this is a one-off thing. Things that, generally speaking, you do once when you create a project. So how do we set up? We need to import, and this is a bit weird, right? It's how it works. So the way to set up, they have a component. You remember when we talk about import-export, what curly bracket mean?
We are importing
More than, yeah, it's non-default, correct. That means it's a non-default exportable thing, yeah? One package out of many, probably. So the name of the package that you import to set up React Router DOM is called browser router. And then you specify where is it from, React Router DOM, yeah? You see, we don't put any // here because this is not our code. This is a library that we have downloaded, yes? Right, and now the weird thing is, this browser router thingy, in reality, in older versions of React Router DOM, it was called simply router. And now it's called browser router. Based on that, their recommendation is rename it to router. Yeah, do you remember how to rename imported dependencies? As, correct, as router. Yeah, these are the guidelines. Can you see the screen, by the way? Yeah, a bit better now, right? So, let's try to live without DevTools, just for readability purposes. So, browser router as router. And then what? Then, what we have to do is, we need to put a router somewhere surrounding your content. Yeah? Still, this is just a setup. And now inside of the router thingy, then let's put our routes. So the routes is just like a state machine. We specify what happened when the user lands on each specific URL. What happened when the user lands on the homepage? What happened when the user lands on, So let's bring some examples. To define the routes, there is another component called route, unsurprisingly, yeah? Route. So then you can do that. Route, path. Path means, okay, what's the condition? When the user lands on / means is the home page, yes? Then which component do you want to run? Component let's create a component called homepage. Homepage, yeah, you see? Now, obviously, we have to create the homepage component. Ideally, it should be on a separate file, but I'll, for now, leave it here. Could be a stateful, could be a stateless, could be a function, could be a class, could be whatever. Keep it simple for now. Function, homepage, and then return the welcome to my app, yeah? And as you can see, now I got a couple of things. I still got the title, yeah? Let me rename that to welcome to the homepage. Yeah, you see? So I got the title, but I also have the welcome to homepage. In other words, it's actually tackling, it's actually triggering the routing, yeah? What happens if I navigate somewhere else? Like hello. Still works. Why? Strict, exact, yes, that's the word, right? In reality, if you pay attention, /hello contains slash, yeah? That's why it matches. But we don't want that, right? We just want to display the home page if we are on the home page. Correct, we need to type the word exact. Yeah, and then you can see that now, why do we still got the title, welcome to routing? No, this is because, as you can see on my main app component, the H1 is outside of the route, yeah, scheme. So whatever you put outside of the routes will be always visible, right? You notice in the Codiri platform, you can navigate, training, challenges, ranks, but the header, the logo is always there, right? I'm not copying the logo on every page. The logo is always there.
If I create an app,
yeah.
in every element.
Outside, correct.
Outside.
Yeah. Which is great, right? You don't have to, otherwise you have to copy and paste the same content in the navbar all the time. Cool. So now going to slash, we got the title. Going anywhere else, so we got the main application title. Let me change that to, imagine this is a logo, right? So you got the logo of your app, which is always there, and then you got the title of your page. So if I go to the slash, it works. If I go hello, it will only display the logo. Yeah. Cool. So now imagine that we're creating a user's database. So whenever you click on a user, you want to check the details: name, first name, email, age, all these sort of things. Yeah. Cool. So let's add a new route. So my route will be user for now details. You see the path. So whenever my customer lands on slash user details, I want to display a component called user details. Yeah. So now it fails because obviously user details is not defined. So let's create it. Yeah. Another function somewhere, ideally in a new file. Function user details, return something. Yeah. Name Peter, age 29. So what happened now? Going to hello, hello is not tracked yet, right? We don't know what to do with hello. So we don't display anything apart from the logo because it's static. But if I change hello with a slash, it displays welcome to homepage. If I change now to user details, it displays the user details, not the homepage anymore. Yeah, does it make sense? Right, this is basic routing. In reality, as you may have noticed already, if you're working with Codeflix, we don't navigate to user details. We navigate to 123, which is the user ID. Yeah, 45, yeah, the name, yeah. So what happens if I go to Peter? Localhost / Peter. Yeah, we don't know what to do with that. What is Peter? We have Lucy. We don't have that, right? We don't know how to deal with dynamic routes. So to work with dynamic routes, here, we should change that. That user details is hard-coded. user dash details. However, if we add a colon, you see the colon? In reality, we are specifying a wildcard. In other words, that means that now if I put here user details, look at what happened now. Now it did work. When I went to Lucy, it will work. When I went to Peter, still works, yeah? So it's capturing all the routes that have that structure, slash, and then some text. Yeah? Another question is, okay, fair enough, I can change the URL. The URL is dynamic. However, the content is still static. If I go to slash Peter, I want to show the details about Peter. If I go to Mary, I want to show the details about Mary. Yeah, I think that makes sense, right? So, does anyone know how to access this ID on the URL? These props match dot details dot user details params. Right, that won't work, guys. We'll see why. It throws an error. Look at the error. Cannot read properly props of undefined. This is undefined. Why this is undefined? Why get rid of it? Correct. So the this.props, this.state works on stateful components, classes. However, is this a stateful component? No, it's a function. Functions don't have access to this. Yeah? So then the question is, how do we access the props if we don't have this? Look at how simple this is. You put props on the argument. Yeah? And then that's it, right? Match.params, yeah? And look, props.match.params dot, that's important. People again speaking gets confused in two things. First of all, what they put here. So that variable here should match whatever comes here on the colon. Yeah? So that's the first thing. The second classic error or mistake or misunderstanding is subtle, is with the name of component. Component is lowercase. I saw people typing that. Yeah? That's not valid. Yeah, that's not valid. You can see now, stop working. Yeah? Remember, attributes should be lowercase. Cool. So now I got Peter. If I change Peter with Anthony, it does work, yeah? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It always works. But what will happen? What will happen if I go to Anthony and change the URL now, even though probably you cannot see anything, slash details? Will it be picked or not?
No. You add another route.
Correct. So because I added another slash, yeah, slash Anthony slash details, this is not going to be captured by that pattern. That pattern only works fine when you have one slash and then something. If you have two slashes, it won't work. Let's see what happened. You see, we just got the logo because this will be always there. It's like your best friend. But then we don't have any content. So now the question is there a way to redirect to any not found page when the user goes crazy typing weird URLs? Yes. We can have a default route. Look, I'm going to add a third one. Route. And then we don't have any path because that will be like the default, yeah? So component equals not found. Yeah? So if my URL hasn't been captured by any of the URLs above, then go to not found. The question is, what is not found? I created it already in a separate file. If you see my folder structure, I got a not found, which is, it's the same thing, right? Very simplistic, states less component, but I'm going to import it. How do we import the component, guys? Import, is it default? The name of the component. Not found. Do we need brackets? No. From? dot slash not found, yes? Correct. So now, look at what happened. It does work. You see, if the URL is invalid, oops, the page doesn't exist. Yeah, so router will do its best to match, to capture the URL. Is it the home page? No. Is it slash something? No, because it's slash something something. Yeah, and because of this exact attribute, React Router DOM is stricter doing the checking. Then eventually say, okay, I don't know what to do with that URL, show the not found page. Yes? I'll show you another example. What happened if we want to, on top of the user details, we want to display something like about. Well, we'll talk about what do we do, how do we do it. Yeah? At the moment, React still thinks that about is a username. You see? Name about. I don't want to display the user details page. I want to display the, about page. So let's try something. I'm going to add another route. Route exact path equals. Do we need a colon here? No, because we want to explicitly go to slash about. Component equals about. So again, we'll create a new component. Let's call it about page and user details page for consistency reasons. Yeah, user details page, and then function about page. So then return div about as blah blah blah. Yeah. So now what happened? This is something weird, right? Look, if I go to slash Peter, yeah, it works. Does it work perfectly or not? Not even, yeah? Look at what happened when I go to slash Peter. We got the title with the logo, okay. We got the details of the user, okay. But then suddenly, we got the not found page. The order. Switch. To simplify the problem, let me remove the default not found route. Yeah, we'll talk about the order first. Look, if I go to Peter, it works perfectly. We agree on that? If I go to about, will it work perfectly? What do you think? Yes, are you sure? This is the details component. Are we expecting to display the details of the user when we go to slash about? The app is still thinking that about is the name of a user. We don't want that. Yeah? So what's going on here? First of all, the order is not correct. So we should put about before, because it's more specific, yes? But even if we do that, it's still not correct. It changed the order. Now it displays about before the name. It's displaying both. We don't want it to display both. We just want to display about us, not the name.
In user detail, you could change the route, the path for path / user.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to leave it like that. Yeah, I want to just have about, and then otherwise, if it's just slash something, display user details. So the way to solve it, or let me express the problem. The problem is, in reality, when you go to slash about, both routes are successful. Yeah, the first one, of course, slash about matches slash about. Yeah, but even the second one is also truthy, right? Slash about matches slash something. Yeah. The way to fix it is we need to go one step beyond and tell React Router DOM, please, as soon as the first route is a match, give up. Ignore whatever comes next. And the way to do it is adding a new component called switch, as some of you mentioned already. So with switch, and we need to be a bit careful with switch, because I think switch needs to be a direct parent of the routes. So that could be a bit controversial, I believe. We need to be a bit careful with where to put the switch thingy. Yeah. If we put it on top of the component, it won't work probably. So switch should be a parent element of our routes. Yeah. So now look at what happened. Now it works perfectly. You see, we don't get the user details anymore. And if we go to Peter, it does work perfectly as well. So now routing is perfect. Back to the sorting issue. What happens if we reorder, if we put user details before about? Will it work or not? So if correct, I think Walter is absolutely right. Look, if we go to /Peter, it does work. But if I go to /about, it doesn't. You see, still displaying user details. That's why the order matters. Put the more specific route before, because with switch, as soon as one route matches the condition, that's it. Yeah, it will display that URL. Anything else? Not found. Yes, let's put the not found back. Yeah, it's a good point. So now if we go to not found, so if we type a URL with two slashes, it displays the not found. Yeah. So because we got 4 minutes left, let's talk about how to add links. So imagine that you're in the not found page and you want to, well, okay, not found, but then what? Yeah. Correct. Yeah, speaking, there are the applications drop a link or a button says back to the home page, yeah, and start again. So let's do that. I'll open the not found component and I'm going to add a link. I saw some of you doing that. href equals blah, blah, blah. That's absolutely valid in HTML. However, in the React world, there is a different way to do it. Does anyone know the component that helps? Link, correct. Import link from React router DOM, yeah? So now, the syntax is link to equals, how do we go to the home page? Slash, and then go to home page, yeah? So as you can see now, I got a link. At the end of the day, that gets transpiled into a proper HTML link, as you can see, yeah? The browser doesn't understand what link means as a React component. But in real time, in execution time, it's just a normal HTML link, yeah? So if I click on the link, yes, we go to the home page, yeah? So then navigation does work. So why we use link instead of href, instead of classic anchor tags? Because thanks to using link, React can track user clicks. And that will be very beneficial on task number 33, I think, when we talk about Google Analytics. Yeah, at some point, we're going to integrate with analytics. So in other words, every time the user clicks somewhere, we're going to capture the event. And based on that, we'll have access to a dashboard when we'll see which is the most popular page, how long the user stays on each page, to analyze user behavior, which is something very sexy. Yeah? Can we open the link in a new tab? Imagine that we want to, yeah, how we do that? Alt, no. No, target. Target equals underscore blank, yeah? So if I do that, it should open, go to home page in a new tab.
That's a classic method, the classic way of it.
That's a classic, yeah, that's a classic way. Probably you cannot hear, you cannot see anything. I cannot see anything from 30 meters distance, but it's on a new tab because I cannot go back. Yeah, it's on the right-hand side, somewhere hidden, yeah? Can we refer to an external URL? Can we put here google.com? No, we can't. We can't. This is a bit surprising, yeah? Unless they change that on version 5, in which case I will learn that. Look at, well, if I hover, go to homepage, you cannot see anything, but I'll show you. It's trying to go localhost /about/http google.com. So in other words, link only works with internal URLs, relative paths. If you want to go to Google, you need to use a classic href, a classic anchor tag. Mm.
That's all.
Yeah. I think, or I believe what they think is, if you want to go to Google, this has nothing to do with us. So, but yeah, I believe it should detect if it's a URL or not, an external one. Anyway, it's what it is, yeah? Yep. What's the limit? Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure, to be honest. I cannot tell you. Yeah, I know. I saw it introduced Navlink, but I don't know. So I'll figure out. Sorry about that. Anything else, guys? No? Gamil, Luigi? No? Cool. That was it. Thank you, guys. Cheers.